Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. It was some pretty funny sound I came across on, I guess it would have been Thursday morning, involving Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports. Okay. And I think everybody, if you're listening to a show like this, you know who Dave Portnoy is, but he's the founder of Barstool Sports. Transparently, listen, I know he's rubbed. First of all, I'll say this. I don't really know him. I know some people from Barstool that work for him. I like everybody that I've ever interacted with Barstool. And I'll say this about Dave Portnoy too. Like, transparently, like, I think he is, from a media perspective, just somebody that guys like me should be following. Okay. I say it all the time about Dave Portnoy, but when I started in this business, when I graduated college, late 2000s, early 2010s, there was 1 million men's lifestyle blogs on the internet. And there's only one that turned into $1 billion company. And that is Barstool Sports. And of course, which was founded by Dave Portnoy. So Portnoy's been in the media forever. And obviously the last couple of years, he's spun off a lot of different things. He does the pizza reviews, which everybody loves. Miss Peaches, which everybody loves. Tried to meet Miss Peaches at the Final Four. Didn't really work out last year. But he also obviously does a lot of sports stuff still for Barstool as well. Well, I bring it up. Dave Portnoy is, of course, a Michigan man. Michigan coming off, by the way, that you win over USC, which was kind of an interesting game. Because on the one hand, like Michigan, you got to be happy. You're 3-1 heading into the heart of Big Ten play. Maybe things aren't quite as bad as they looked after the Texas game. Same time, though, we also all watched the game, and we got to know what happened during the game where Michigan couldn't throw the football. Alex Orji, I think 46 yards passing, if my memory serves me correct, 2.7 yards per completion. And it is clear that in the post-J.J. McCarthy world, Michigan doesn't have a quarterback. Anyway, doing a terrible job setting this up because Dave was on the Barstool College Football Show, I think, talking about the state of Michigan football. He had some very interesting things to say. Producer Matt, play the sound.
Who's in there? Give me a group. I'll go get them. I will sign them $1 million, $2 million, whatever it is.
What's the top?
$3 million.
What if, are some of them going for more? Wasn't the Nico kid like...
Fine, but I can get a quarterback. We don't have a quarterback. If I don't get the number one...
for 3, though. You can be in the stratosphere.
Yeah, but you don't want to... I'm wondering, like, is Dave... how are you running this? I want to get a quarterback, or I'm like George Steinbrenner, I will spend any amount of dollars?
No, I'm gonna get us a top 10 quarterback in the portal coming out every year. Top 10 quarterback.
So there it is. Dave Portnoy willing to pay upwards of $3 million a year for a quarterback for Michigan. He's a Michigan man. Just saw his team win a national championship. Doesn't want to see the program fall off. And I'll be transparent. Kind of love that audio. A couple of things kind of come to mind to me when I heard that audio. First of all, listen, I know I just spent a whole segment talking about, NIL's a mess, the portal's a mess. And I do think we need some oversight. And I do think we need like basic rules. And by the way, people need to follow those rules. The NCAA can't just put in rules and schools just say, I'm not following them. But at the same time, I was also thinking, like, I love NIL because it gives us so much to talk about. Think about all the different headlines and narratives and topics that come up because of this nonstop. And by the way, not fun for a coach, but hey, coaches, you get paid $5, $6, $7, $8, $10 million a year, deal with it. The Jordan Addison situation. Caleb Williams transferring, Quinn Ewers not starting, going to Texas. You go across, did I say Jordan Addison? I said Jordan Addison. Ohio State just publicly talking about like, yeah, we got a $20 million payroll. So it's like, it gives us just so much to talk about. The portal with NIL. It's crazy. By the way, remember over the summer, we were talking about a lot of basketball portal stuff, basketball NIL stuff. The CBS article, who has the most money in NIL? I know it's kind of frustrating if you're on the outside looking in, but to actually have stuff to talk about, it just makes for such interesting conversations, much like this. What I also find interesting, by the way, I don't think Dave knows this. Again, I don't know Dave. I don't think he knows this, but it's a very topical thing especially right now for one very simple reason. One, Michigan doesn't have a quarterback, like he said. And by the way, I was watching Michigan against USC, and I think if they were even getting like B- quarterback play, they'd be right back in the Big Ten title hunt. Don't know if they would have enough to beat those upper level teams, Tennessee, Texas, maybe Ohio State. If Ohio State, we'll see what Ohio State looks like against a real team. But I just bring it up because Michigan, I don't think is that far off, but why it's especially interesting. For those of you who follow recruiting, and I know he was talking specifically about the portal, but do you know who the number one recruit in America is in the 2025 cycle? It is a quarterback by the name of Bryce Underwood. Do you know where Bryce Underwood is from? He's from Bellevue, Michigan. That's right. The best quarterback in America. The year that Michigan is struggling just so happens to be from the state of Michigan. By the way, I was told this, and as I've told you many times, I have some pretty good sourcing in the Midwest, in the Big Ten, and at Michigan, and in the state of Michigan specifically, Michigan, Michigan State, all those MAC schools. And what I was told, Bryce Underwood, committed back in probably January of 2024, so earlier this year. Obviously, he committed so that he could help help his school recruit in the summertime. And then, of course, in the winter enroll. So he's going to enroll in just probably, frankly, like 6-8 weeks from now. Bring it up because what I was told, he committed to LSU. But what I was told was he's from Michigan. Michigan's coming off a national championship. And even after the coaching change, he actually wanted to go to Michigan. And what ended up happening was basically he said, look, it's an NIL world, or not him, but his agents, his reps, whatever, said it's an NIL world. It's pay for play world. We can call it not pay for play, but it is. And I need some money to come here. And he gave a number. I don't know what it was. My guess is we kind of know what the numbers are. $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, somewhere in that neighborhood, somewhere in the Dave Portnoy neighborhood. And Michigan just basically said, that's not how we operate here. We'd love to have you, but we're not going to just buy high school recruits. We have NIL, but it's for guys on campus, guys that are established. Last year would have been Blake Corum and whatever. This year it's probably Will Johnson. It's probably Kenneth Grant. It's probably Mason Graham. So I bring it up because Dave said this literally in a year where the number one high school quarterback in America is like an hour from Michigan's campus. And I was told wanted to commit to Michigan, but LSU just came and said, we'll take care of you. What's the number? Let's make it happen. So you have that situation. And finally, I'll just say, I know because I looked, obviously I did the thing that was probably dumb where I looked on the internet to kind of see what some of the reactions to this were. And of course, seeing the reactions, I saw what people said of, all of a sudden Michigan's in the business of buying recruits. It's like, I'm sorry, dude. In 2024, I can't get fired up that whether it's an alum, a booster, a this, a that, is just publicly talking about, I want to pay, I want to buy, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to help, I want to, have him part of my company. I just can't get too fired up. We've seen all of these crazy stories. Again, I didn't even mention Nico. When Nico committed to Tennessee, I don't care. Tennessee is getting return on their investment. They're a national championship contender. Whatever Quinn Ewers is getting at Texas, he's worth every penny. And so you could go on and on down the list, but there's a lot of good quarterbacks in college football right now that got paid before they ever showed up on campus. So I'll be curious to see. By the way, I think there will be a pretty easy way to track if Dave actually fulfills his promise. Because we'll watch the portal this offseason. We will watch the high school ranks this offseason. If somebody lands at Michigan, and oh, by the way, if they start appearing on all the Barstool podcasts and YouTube feeds and whatever, then I think we have a pretty good idea that Dave was behind it. But I love this sound, had no problem with it. Dave Portnoy, ready to back up the Brinks truck. He's a good Michigan man. Don't blame him at all.